The battle is intense this morning, gentlemen, as the bulls and the bears struggle with this particular level of support for Bitcoin. Let's take a closer look and see what the tradable areas are. Meanwhile, Jack Dorsey spearheads the campaign for a decentralized social media application. ING steps into crypto custody solutions, and Nike on the blockchain. Shoes on the blockchain, ladies and gentlemen. Coming soon to a decentralized Foot Locker near you. All this and more in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin.
I'm Joseph Abadi from Blockchain Economics, and you're watching Breaking Bitcoin.
Welcome to another episode of Breaking Bitcoin, everybody. I am your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and co-founder at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and whether you're watching us from across this wide, somewhat centralized, somewhat decentralized interwebs of ours on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or of course on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. If you enjoy what we're doing and you would like to support the show, make sure to support us on our social platforms here. Give us a subscribe and a thumbs up here on YouTube. Give us a follow over on Twitch or DLive, and share the link around to your friends, your family, maybe even people you don't like. Christmas is just around the corner, and the nicest thing you could get for that one special person in your life who you absolutely despise is potentially a link to Cracking Cryptocurrency. Anyways, we've got a fantastic show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about Nike and shoes on the blockchain. We're going to be talking about decentralized social media. We've talked about this before. We've got some new thoughts. I want to share my opinions on this with Jack Dorsey's recent comments. And we're also going to be talking about banking giant ING stepping into the solutions of crypto custody. But of course, we're going to be breaking down the price of Bitcoin, looking at the trends, looking at strategies, and talking about risk management and profitable trade setups. Let me know how you guys are doing in the live chat section. That's what it is there for. All right, guys, make sure to check out premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com if you would like to trade along with us. If you would like to receive access to our online trading academy, all of our educational content, our proprietary indicators and strategies, and mentorship, make sure to check out premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. We are the fastest education trading group on the interwebs. I'm very proud to say that every single day. All right, we've got a great show. By the way, last little bit, guys, make sure to do the team a favor. One thing that you can do if you're trying to catch us on the go is check out the podcast at breakingbitcoin.money. Scott puts a lot of work into that. It's a baby. It's a darling. It is beautiful. So if you want to catch us on the go, make sure to check out the Breaking Bitcoin podcast. You can even access it through your Google Assistant, and reviews are highly appreciated. Let us know that we're doing good stuff out there, guys. All right. Should be able to. I know I've been saying it for a while, guys, but these things do take time because we put quality into our production. So the Silvio Macaulay interview, I've reviewed it. It looks fantabulous. Hopefully, I'll be able to publish it tomorrow. I'm going to finish up the work on that after the show. It's a couple development projects I need to get to as well, and I've got a few meetings also as well. So let's get right into the show, guys. I want to thank this month's Crypto Comment giveaway sponsor, Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to check them out at spectresecurity.io for all your security needs. Let us go to the charts and guess, or not guess, choose whoever got the price of Bitcoin closest correctly so we can give away some free crypto as we do every single day. Let's go. All right, and here we are at yesterday's video, of course, was if the market tanks. This is how we've prepared live trading. Honestly, I'm going to shoot straight with you. Yesterday's video was one of my favorites. Had the opportunity to do a lot of free flow, share my thoughts. I answered a lot of questions, so make sure to go check out yesterday's video. There's some really good moments in there, especially where I break down fees, where I break down trading, where I break down automation. I answered a lot of trading relevant questions. Of course, all the timestamps are in the description as well. We also covered altcoins analysis and Matic, fees on Bitcoin derivatives, longs and shorts, funding, all of these things and how they affect your returns and your overall strategy. And I highly recommend, this is just me, but I highly recommend you guys go watch just this last little clip if you haven't. And I talk about, my philosophy in life, how to live with courage and always strive for what you want, how to build the life of your dreams or strive towards such a goal in everything that you do, which I think is very important. All right, so let's go verify what the price of Bitcoin was when we started off this show. Let's go to the 1 minute chart and we'll pull open right here. And this candle opened at 71.8950. So we're looking for 71.8950 is what we're looking for. Back here, who's closest to 71.8950? WindyBrownEye so far. Let's give this a refresh, make sure I didn't miss anything. All right. I think that's Wendy, sir, unless somebody can please correct me because I have gotten this wrong before. Make sure I'm not steamrolling You Go Chill again. And I'm sorry, of course, You Go Chill, yesterday's winner. Great friend of the channel. Thank you so much, my friend. Wendy, it looks like you win, my friend. Get a hold of me in the Discord and I will tip you some crypto. Big winner, chicken dinner. All right, with that being said, guys, if you guys would like to participate, just comment down in the comment section below today what you think the price of Bitcoin will be when we start the stream tomorrow. Comments do need to be in before the close of the daily candle. All right, so here we are in the live stream. Getting over to Mr. Bitcoin. All right, let's do the roll call, guys. It's hard. Midwest attempts. Michael Naranjo, Don Candon, Phil Son. We've got Wendy in the house. Mr. Ether, All About, Scrooge McDuck, Jap. We've got Wally in the house, the man, the myth, the legend. Nice, Hash, Logan, Ricky T. All right, good to see you guys. Aaron Webb, B-Flow. Thank you guys so much. Mash Stash, Tenacious V as well. Into the break. Did I meet with investors today? No, but I have had some meetings here in the morning, and I've got a couple moving in there. Yeah, make sure. Listen, guys, just letting you know. It feels nice to dress nice, okay? But make sure that you guys do your research on how to tie that tie knot very nicely. I want to give Scott some shout out for that because when we were in San Francisco, Scott ties his tie knot like a professional and his skills were far superior to mine. So I took notes, I paid attention, I did some research and practice, and now I too have that nice knot. All right, guys, let's get right along with these. Tendies, says Wendy. Profit Bear, good to see you as well. All right, getting into today's price, and we're going to start off. We'll come back to this. This is going to be the live. Obviously, we've got a few things happening. Last night was a fairly interesting night because we did have this nice Darth Maul candle, as we do like to call them. Basically, a candle that says, "Hey, are you long? Screw you. Are you short? Screw you too. Are you over leveraged to the hilt? You guys are getting liquidity sucked away from you." Thank you so much. Gobble gobble gobble. Thank you so much, my friend. All right. Ken D says, "I tie my knots left-handed." Well, here's the thing, my friend. It doesn't count if you are left-handed. I'm wondering if that's the punchline to that. Let's go down and let's go to our main diversified. Oh, look at that. Massive 1 minute pump. We're going to the moon, clearly. All right, going to the daily. Actually, you know, for those of you who are new to the channel, we'll just start off very slowly here. Ease into what we're going to talk about today. Make sure that everybody is on the same page because everything that I do, every trade that I take is couched within multiple frames of analysis. So we'll go to the macro. Obviously, we've talked about this before. Looking at the monthly chart of Bitcoin. Monthly has not changed, obviously. It is not the end of December. That would mean that I can finally relax, although, of course, I have my daughter's birthday coming up very closely. And this is why, you know, with my daughter's birthday being in the first week of January and Christmas being in the last week of December, I've had to break the unfortunate news to her that, honey, I'm sorry, but we're just not going to be able to celebrate both holidays. It's, you know, we're just, you know, frugal lifestyle. Come on, live it, dream it, love it. You're just going to have to choose what holiday you want. And by the way, for the parents out there, you know, I see this all the time because I see my grandparents doing it and I see this all over kind of on the, you know, my friends talking about it, my other friends who are parents, you know, everybody, you know, loses their mind once the last 2 weeks toward Christmas come. And because people generally haven't prepared for how they want to celebrate their relationship with somebody, they feel this pressure from consumerism of the holidays of Christmas. And they, you know, they respond with, I don't know what to buy. I have to go buy something. What should I get? And then generally people just end up running to Walmart, or nowadays they go to Amazon and they just, you know, just buy stuff that generally people aren't going to appreciate anyways. So For those of you who may or may not be interested, my protocol for gift giving, which I think is very important in cultures, gift giving is very important to build society. It's a good ritual. It's a good it's a good celebration. It's a good, again, it's a ritual, right? And what the ritual symbolizes is more important than the gift itself, right? So I have a very simple protocol. I do not give gifts on birthdays. I never have, and I never will. In fact, in other cultures, of course, I'm American, so what I say is biased through the lens of the Americanized version and dream here. In other cultures, on birthdays, the birthday boy or girl is actually expected to give gifts as a celebration of their friendships or relationships with their family or friends, which I quite like. I think that's quite nice and nuanced. In America, obviously, birthdays have generally been looked at, in my experience, as an opportunity for people to be spoiled and to feel entitled and blah, blah, blah. But that all depends on your psychology and your frame of reference. So birthdays, do not give gifts. What I do for birthdays for my children and my friends is I do events. So I ask them if I know what I think they would like, I take them somewhere. So we'll go, paintballing, or we'll go, we'll go rock climbing, or we'll go to Sky Zone with my kids, or we'll do something. We'll go play Frisbee golf. We'll do an activity and an event. That celebrates. That's getting together. That's doing something. That's celebrating our friendship. For like older people like my parents or my grandparents, I generally like to make cheesy little DVD videos of our relationship or their life, and then we watch those together, and it's like, oh. But I think that's very important. I don't give gifts on birthdays. I spend time with people. But on Christmas, I do one gift, and it's very simple. I ask my kids what they want. I'm like, what do you want? It's Christmas. You've been good. You get one gift, select it, make it a good one. And if it's financially reasonable, you get that. Problem solved. Right? It's problem solved. Have them submit the gift, the item that they want, in writing by June with an itemized list, taxes, the nationality of the item that they want, must be signed in triplicate, sent to my accountant, sent back. And as long as that's filed with me by November 22nd, then they get the item. Right? So far, the kids have not been able to figure out the loopholes to actually get the item, but that is my policy. Okay, that's my policy, right? It's there. All they have to do is read the fine print. Just kidding. Do one gift. So do yourself a lot of favors. Do yourself some favors. Don't stress about the holidays. Holidays are about those you love, and gift giving is a wonderful ritual, but don't overstress it, man. Just ask the person what they want. It's easy. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you got them for Christmas. And if somebody is ambivalent or indignant about what you got them for Christmas, let me give you a pro tip. That's not a relationship worth investing time into anyways, because that's a person that's got some demons. Hey, kid, want to go to a crypto investors conference? It'll be fun. Yes. Yes, we have spent. So getting back to the technical analysis here, of course, on the monthly, we did close below the monthly baseline, which is going to be a 20-period Hall moving average. We got a confirmed cross under on Minx, our primary momentum indicator. We got confirmation. We don't, you can't actually see the blue dynamic line. I'd have to reset it to 50. Let's actually do that right here. Hello. Oh, I'm going to have to do it on the Bitstamp chart. But on the Bitstamp chart, we are below that dynamic zero line. 1,000 is a little too long, in my opinion. Obviously, we got the powerful sell signal from Wadatar explosion, rising explosion level, indicating increasing volatility. And again, if we go back to the last signal that we got from Wadatar explosion, the last buy signal that we got, of course, this wasn't confirmation of the bullish trend, but what it did signal was a blow off top, and exactly what I am looking for from this signal as well, a blow off bottom. Again, with that ATR target being around the $4,900 area. And again, the nature in which we approach that level will be very deterministic if we go below that level. But for now, that is the area that we have our sights set on. Macro hedged. On the weekly time frame, weekly is not looking good. We did close below the baseline. We did get the powerful sell signal from Wadatar explosion over here above the baseline. So again, generally not taking trades ever or at any time above the baseline. There are strategies and individuals that I've mentored and taught who have built systems that do not utilize baselines, and that's absolutely fine. Or they utilize some more convoluted moving average strategy, which is a close fit as well. But there is a powerful signal from Wadatar explosion. CCI is below as well. In fact, just trading CCI in this fashion would have had you short on the close of this week, and you'd have just remained short throughout all of this, even throughout the Jericho candle, as we see here. But yes, we did get that nice big movement below the trade qualifying line, interestingly enough. So let's actually take a look at that, how we would have been protected on the weekly from this. So we'll just flip this to a short and we can see, or hold on, let me pull open the style here because it is black. There we go. So we can see, we didn't actually quite close below it. So we could have entered into a short on the close of this weekly candle. We would have had a little bit of drawdown, but the better entry we can see was the reversal baseline bounce. I was kind of expecting us to close below the qualifying line there. And like we did here, and require us to take a reversal baseline bounce. Obviously, in this case, that would have been an invalidated trade setup sometime here on the daily. But of course, we had that Jericho candle, and sometimes those things happen. That was an anomaly. But anyways, a nice reversal baseline bounce here, rejecting from the weekly baseline, as we can see. So those who are, kind of focused more on the weekly, of course, we still have a rising explosion level, rising bearish momentum in this candle, as opposed to these small 2 weekly green candles. But overall, things looking fairly negative. Again, here from the weekly perspective, again, we would want to see price above 79.50. We would also want to be seeing price above the baseline, coming in at 75.02. And that's actually the setup that I've talked about on like the 4-hour and the daily. Getting that close above 7,500, we could take that swing up to 8,000, where our secondary baseline is at in the form of the daily 55 exponential moving average, and look to reshort from that level. Could take the swing trade to the upside. Not really a swing trade, more of a that would be more of a interday trade, not an intraday trade, but an interday trade, multiple day trade, as opposed to a swing, which is generally 4 days to a week or so, and then get reshort from that $8,000 level. And then breaking above 8,000, then we do have to reconsider our analysis here. We have to reconsider our macro analysis and do consider that this is going to be a potential bottom. And I've talked about the nice upside of that, because if that is true, then that means that this is a local or significant bottom for Bitcoin at this point in time. And we could potentially see much higher prices. But we'll just look at what the indicators are saying at that point in time. It depends on what the indicators are saying and what the nature of the chart is looking like at that time. On the daily, this doesn't look good. I know a lot of people are calling for this to be a bounce from support, and it is possible. One thing that we've talked about, and again, not a huge fan of price action analysis for most of the time. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just most people who focus more on price action and less on objective strategies and strategy building are going to have a lower chance of success, because you get into multiple problems looking for patterns where they don't exist, trading off chart patterns that don't have a high probability of success, and generally using analysis methods that result to coin flips. Now, we have talked before about dojis. Now, doji candles in Bitcoin on the daily do have some good potential for reversals. But we have to look at a few things here. Where are we at? We are in the sell zone for getting short. We closed below the baseline here. We had short confirmation over here. One could have been in a daily short from here. The only thing that would have been holding us back is Wadatar explosion. Now, to be quite frank, Wadatar explosion is largely keeping us out of this market, because as you can see, we're not getting any signal. It's signaling to us that volatility is low. It's signaling to us that volatility is low, and that the safest thing to do is sit on one's hands until we get a strong breakup or breakdown with volume and volatility, and trade in that direction. Or if it's very momentous, then wait for a pullback and re-enter into the dominant trend. Again, the dominant trend from a macro perspective is still bearish. All pumps in this scenario, in this analysis, in this current state of the market, are opportunities to get short on until that is invalidated with a shift in market structure. Generally, that is very easy to do. From a price action standpoint, we need to see higher lows and higher highs. Generally, what confirms a shift in market structure is you receive one higher high, you get a high, you receive a higher low, and then you get another higher high, and then you're supposed to buy the pullback on the second higher low is the way to trade this. Generally, you are then above your baseline or above a moving average of your choice that you're utilizing for this, and that is your opportunity. That is your basic trend following strategy to be buying pullbacks in bullish markets. And again, conversely, when you are in bearish markets like we are, let's pull up something like CC-EMA and look at our majors, something like the tertiary baseline in the form of the 21 exponential moving average. And I don't want to have too many lines on here, but again, the important ones are going to be in order of importance: the orange 13 exponential moving average, the green 21 exponential moving average. One thing that we can actually do is we can actually get that 8 exponential, because we don't really utilize that too much. The orange 13, the green 21, and the silver 55. Those are the important lines. And then we have the simple 100 and the simple 200 above here for some dynamic levels of SNR, which we've seen play off of those. But again, every single interaction with the 21 EMA, the tertiary baseline, and the secondary baseline have been shorting opportunities for Bitcoin. And we did get that daily cross under of the 55 and 13 on the daily, which again just confirmed and signaled a big blow off bottom. We have several other things as well. Looking over at our hash ribbons indicator, we are still in the thralls of minor capitulation. We have not received. Sorry, we need to go to the daily here. There we go. On the daily, we have not seen with this strategy, the recommended price action element or the trend following element, which is the 10 and 20 simple moving average crossover and cross under. We have not seen that strong cross up. They are moving synchronously. It is currently still acting as a level of resistance. We are still in the thralls of minor capitulation without a buy signal. And if we go look at something like BitMEX funding has been wildly positive throughout the majority of this area. Even in this area right here, BitMEX funding is still weekly positive with a brief spurt for one funding of negative period, which did lead to a little upthrust in price. But again, we do see slightly weak positive funding right now as we speak. Moving on from that, so on the daily, does not look good. We've got a lot of overhead resistance sitting above us in the form of in the form of the baseline, getting rid of the baseline, going back and looking at those EMAs in the form of the 13, the 21, and the 55. Now again, 2 taps on the 21, right? And a higher low and an equidistant low. So something like a double bottom. Now looking for a close above that 21 EMA, as I talked about, we can take that swing to 8,000, right? 79.50, 8,000. And we can look to reshort from that level. I think that's going to be a good trade setup opportunity. Now, for those in this situation, shorting, in what this case many are going to call support, I don't actually think that's a bad idea. This does look like a breakdown. As you can see, we're just creeping down slowly. We didn't approach support on high momentum. And often when we just creep slowly down toward a level of support or a level of demand, we tend to blow right through it. Whereas when we approach a level of demand on high momentum with a big candle, we often bounce and spring right back off of that. So I really do view this as I don't think that those who are short right now are making a bad decision at this point in time. We've really, that's a trade setup. There's really nothing more to say about it other than that. Zooming out a little bit to the daily. And taking a look at VPVR, nothing has really changed here. As you guys can see, we did receive rejection from our resistance level, our HVN, again, which is sitting at 79.50. We can see the confluence between that and our secondary baseline at the 55 EMA, around 79.50, 8,000, current overhead level of resistance. As you can see, we are forming an HVN, a little baby HVN right here, with all of the volume that is being transacted at this level. Again, why is this consolidation? Why is this chop? Because there is an active battle between bulls and bears, and we did receive a little bit of a weak bounce, not a weak bounce, but a fairly substantial bounce from this our point of control primary level of support at 64.04. And again, depending on the nature in which we approach this level, again creeping down toward it, I would expect us to blast right through down here to our lower area, not only where we have this HVN, not only where we have our ATR target on the monthly, which is pointing us down there, but also where we have the lower boundary of the developing value area as well on VPVR. So a lot of confluential areas there as well. Let's see, moving on from that, let's see, do we have, yep, so if we look at the Bollinger Bands, which is tied to the Wadatar explosion, we can see them expand on today. We'll wait for the daily close, but we do see this contraction. Overall, this contraction has taken a while, so I would not expect to see, again, I've said this before, I wouldn't expect to see price just go ahead and grind this area out for a protracted 2 to 4 more weeks. We don't have to have a breakdown. We don't have to have a breakout whatsoever at this point in time. It's just, every time we creep down towards support, you want to be aware, you want to be alert. And overall, I think if you are just macro hedged from that monthly and weekly perspective, then you're going to be safe and secure no matter what you do. If Bitcoin takes a huge breakdown out of this area, then you're going to be fine. You're not going to lose any capital, and you might even be profiting. And you can just be looking to be more active on the daily or the 4-hour or whatever the time frame is that you've developed your strategy on, pursuant to your rules. Now going down to the 4-hour, again, nice Darth Maul candle, clearing liquidity here for over-leveraged longs, over-leveraged shorts. We kind of are creeping back up toward that level of support. Could we see a little bit of a baby breakout here? Yes, it's possible. It's not a trade that I really want to take. It's not really what I have my eyes on. Overall, just looking at volatility, looking at it die off, and looking on this time frame of the lack of a trend being established and us moving into this kind of consolidation period, especially after this big liquidity grab, without a clear spring to the downside. does not make me feel very confident to take a trade. You know, one thing that I will point out is that every time we have experienced these nice bear wicks to the upside, we tend to have a pretty significant move to the downside right here. And we've seen it here, and we've seen it here, and we've seen it here, and we've seen it here. We just over and over and over and over and over again, going all the way back over here. Long wicks to the downside do not propel us to a very large movement, but long wicks to the upside do propel us to a fairly significant downside movement. So, and just in general, trading the direction of the dominant trend. Again, hourly looks kind of the same, kind of creeping up toward that previous level of R here, kind of looking for a breakout trade. You know, so I don't think that you'd be wrong in looking for that trade, but I'd also be pretty cautious and keep your risk pretty tight on trading to the upside at this point in time. Again, the better trade, the safer trade, I think, is again getting above that $7,500 area, looking to take it at 8,000, and looking to get short on that area. That would be, you know, essentially there's a multiple factors there. Not only the VPVR high volume node that we talked about, not only the 55 exponential moving average in the form of our secondary baseline, but also as well it'd be a nice grab above liquidity, a nice grab above liquidity right here. Now, another, let's see here. Another interesting chart that I did see earlier today looks a little something like this. And it looked at, I'm trying to find the first one here. Yeah, I believe it was this one. Okay, so you have, okay, so we'll be deleting these lines in just a moment. But as you can see here, let's just zoom in here. It's top and the bottom. So we have this pretty tight consolidation range with a fake breakout to the upside, followed by an immediate sell-off back into that kind of range. Ignore the middle line here, just the top and the bottom line. And then what do we see? We see basically, it's not really a spring, but we see a liquidity grab to the downside, you know, thrusting us down to the lows, and then we get a nice little pump to the upside, right? So that's example one. And then we see the exact same thing over here, right, where we're trading in this range, right? Trading in this range, we get a fake breakout to the upside, an immediate sell-off back into the range, and then a stop-loss hunt to the downside before a big pump to the upside. And then the conclusion that was drawn by the person who posted this chart was the exact same thing over here. He's like, look, we're trading in this range, right? We're trading in this range. We have a fake breakout to the upside, followed by an immediate sell-off back into the range. And then what are we looking for here? Basically, we're looking for a stop-loss hunt down around to the 6,900, 7,500 area before a nice pump to the upside. Again, I think I would, if I were to see that scenario happen, I would want to be targeting, again, that $8,000 area to get short on. I really don't want people to get caught in this area looking to take trending longs in this area. I just don't think it's really appropriate. We need to see the daily trend shift, or, you know, the weekly trend better shift, and put us in a macro environment, right? Because, for example, you know, going back over to that weekly chart, this is a simple concept, guys. Going back over to that weekly chart, let's just look at the baseline. Again, when we closed above the baseline back in December, again, let you know that you were in an environment where you could be looking for long trades. When we closed back below, let you know, and again, we closed back below over here back in July, and we only closed back above it on that Jericho candle. And from July, with the exception of this, even that was an opportunity to get short. It wasn't an opportunity to really go long. You could have taken the reversal trade, but as far like this is a long trend, right? This is a trend to the upside where you do not want to be short, right? This right here is a reversal trade and an opportunity to get short at resistance. Right? There's a big difference, right? The trades here, since we closed below the baseline here, are shorting opportunities. And very similarly, even that fake out to the upside, shorting opportunities. What is this? A retreat back to the baseline. What is this? It's a shorting opportunity. I'm just sorry, guys. So many people in trading in general only want to look at reversals, only want to look at buying low and selling high, or shorting the tops and selling low. You just follow the trend. Renko trend is also bearish here, confirmed. Let's see here. On the 15-minute chart, we do got some, look like we could potentially take an intraday kind of scalp long here. Consolidating at the daily point of control, breaking above VWAP, pulling back down, finding support on the point of control, and having this nice little potential breakout here. So just be careful, guys. Just be a little cautious in this area right here. Again, right above liquidity, common liquidity grab area. Again, can this break to the upside? Yes, that's possible. Would I really want to short this one? No, not really. This doesn't really look like my kind of setup. Again, overall, I just want to stay neutral, stay calm. I do have a short position open that I will close out back at break even if such a thing happens. But that's where I'm at in the market. Again, looking for that nice breakdown. I think that's the better trade. I think any kind of pumps are going to be opportunities to reposition back short, with the only caveat being if we do actually get all the way back up to 7,500 and then get a nice daily close above it, then I'll be looking to take it to 8,000. I'll take that chance, and then I'll reshort from the $8,000 area when I see price stagger and falter. Other than that, guys, pretty simple. Again, from the perspective of PTP on the daily, there's nothing to do here. There's nothing to do here on the daily. Wadatar explosion is keeping you out, keeping you safe, letting you know that this area is treacherous. Wait for volume, let the chop play out. And while the chop is playing out, again, one can do reversion to the mean strategy, or one can do lower time frames. But again, when we're in choppy consolidation, trending strategies generally get you chopped up, which is why we can revert to something like reversion to the mean, or just sit on our hands. Because preserving capital in areas of the market where most people go bankrupt is outperforming the market, guys, is outperforming the market. You don't need to trade ranges. You can just take a break, right? Christmas is coming up, guys. Go spend time with your family. If you just want to trade the daily, if you just want to trade trends, if you're looking for the next significant trend in Bitcoin, if you're that kind of trader, like we are, and just sit on your hands, relax, come back later. Midwest has a long at 71.83. First target is 71,240. Best of luck to you, man. That's a hell of a scalp. All right, it is 12:32, guys. And with all of this being said about the market, I'd really like to hear from junior analyst Midwest Attempts with today's Bitcoin weather report. So let's go check in over there in the studio. Midwest, what do you have for us today?
I can buy, Jack! I can buy! Don't let go, Jack! Don't let go! What the fuck?
Who the fuck was that guy? Let's have a moment of silence for junior analyst Midwest Attempts. Our hearts and thoughts go out to you. I don't know who that guy was that let you go, but he looked like a real jerk, man. Too soon. Too soon. Make sure to give the video a like, guys, if you enjoy what we're doing. Share us around to your friends and family. Subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. We're here every day if you guys are new to the show. And my contacts just decided to go swimming around in my eyeballs, so I can't see anything right now. If we break to the upside, I'm gonna miss it. All right, hopefully you guys like that. We have a lot of fun here at the studio, man. Listen, something that's really important to understand is, trading requires psychological discipline. It's the most important thing. Psychological discipline and risk management, the ability to manage your capital. It takes a while to remember. what you think, this is the life hack for today, right? And this is going to sound silly or simple, but often very effective life hacks do, right? So, do you know how often people tend to say things like, "Oh man, I'm such an idiot," when they get something wrong, or "Oh man, I should have known that," or "Nah, you know, like that, I better not." Anything that comes out of a human's mouth that paints a negative picture of themselves. And people do this all the time. Like self-deprecation seems to be the standard for humor nowadays. And what that is, though, unfortunately, is language that makes you weak, right? It is language that paints a mental image of yourself as somebody who is not confident, not in control, not assertive, not alpha. And these things can be very debilitating because your thoughts become words, right? What you think in your head, it turns into what comes out of your mouth. And what comes out of your mouth, your words, become actions, right? Your actions become habits. And your habits become your character. And your character determines your destiny. And that is Lao Tzu right there. And that is more true than ever. So if you can go to the beginning of the cycle and control your thoughts, so every time you think or you say, right, you can kind of cut off the first two segments of the cycle here. Every time you think or say something like, "Oh, I'm so stupid," immediately correct yourself and say something silly like, "I mean, I'm so smart." It sounds silly, but it's powerful. And you do that long enough and you build the habit of not saying negative things about yourself. Not saying negative things about yourself has you in that habit, has you performing the actions of becoming more confident, becoming more assertive, becoming more stable and secure in who you are as a person. And these things make a big impact in high stress situations like trading or managing capital, right? If you guys, those who want to be professional traders, you guys are going to be managing large amounts of capital, and you have to have your emotions in check, and you have to feel confident and secure in who you are as a person and as a trader. You got to build your strategy. You have to put the technical work in and let your strategy do its job, but you're also going to need the mental fortitude to weather the slings and arrows of the market. So try that out. Apply that in your life. I guarantee you it will help. Tyler Z saying, "That works very well. When I wake up now, I say, 'Yes, let's get it.' And my day goes so much better." Indeed. Indeed, it does. Start your day off powerful and strong, because you are powerful and strong, and your entire day will be much better. Into the Break says, "Bite a pencil if you're mad. It makes you smile and release endorphins." Yes! Thank you, It's Hard. Was that a special order shirt, or was that in Justin's wardrobe? You know, this is nothing special. This is from Men's Warehouse. It's Calvin Klein. You know, I think it is like, you know, to be real, I think it is a couple $100 shirt. You know, and here's the thing. I'm a minimalist, right? So I have, I like to dress nice, but I don't have an excessive amount of clothing. You know, I donate a lot of clothing to Goodwill, to Salvation Army, mostly Goodwill for clothing, to be quite honest with you. Goodwill is just larger in presence out here, where I'm at. And you know, kind of my mentality is not, I don't go out and spend excessive amounts of money on clothes. But when I am building like what I want to wear or what I want to have in my house, you know, I prefer quality over quantity, right? So, you know, one does not need a large amount of clothes, right? A few nice button downs, a couple of nice jackets, a couple of nice slacks, maybe 5, really no more than that, you know. Good looking, good fitting t-shirts, you know, a few pairs of comfortable jeans, a couple pairs of nice shoes, a pair of boots. That's really all you need, right? And then just go to Walmart, buy, you know, your boxer briefs. I really, you know, the whole like expensive boxer briefs, that thing's silly, man. That's silly. Oh, the Titanic shirt. I think you're right. He says that's a leftover from Midwest attempts at stage production. No, Midwest is extremely hilarious. He does great skits, and he's got a big wardrobe of awesome clothing and material. So definitely look forward to more of his skits. I love working with the man. He's very intelligent, very motivated. He's become a very competent trader. Since I've gotten the pleasure and honor of knowing him, since he's been in the group, since he's been enrolled in the premium group, and his skill and his confidence as a trader has just kind of skyrocketed. Saintsy says that his wife is a social skills expert and she encourages people to do a Wonder Woman or Superman stance before doing something scary. That works too. Hands on the hips, chest puffed out, arm tilted up. I do that too. Yeah, I actually, I do that before meetings. Yeah, I do that before meetings. Okay, let's see here. Scott disagrees about the undies. I'll check it out. I've never bought undies from Marshalls. Check Marshalls out. All right, let's get into today's news, guys, with today's Crypto Currently segment. Now, our first story today is coming to us from btcmanager.com, and this is about Twitter announcing their intent to build a decentralized social media protocol. Now, Jack Dorsey, who obviously is the founder behind Twitter and Square, has recently announced via a Twitter thread, appropriately enough, that he is hiring a small team of developers to build an open and transparent protocol called Blue Sky that will be focusing on basically being an infrastructure for decentralized social media, very akin to Gab, for those of you who are familiar with Gab. It's been in the headlights recently. Now, we've known about this before. Obviously, we've known that Square in particular has been hiring a team of devs, but this is just now more coming to the limelight as they do officially now release their plans for what they intend to build, which is this thing called Blue Sky, this decentralized social media platform, which again, Steam is a good example of that, of a blockchain-based social media platform. Gab, again, another good example. Now, Jack Dorsey has, of course, come out in recent years as probably one of the highest profile tech entrepreneurs to publicly endorse Bitcoin. Again, going so far as to say that Bitcoin is the native currency of the internet, or should rightfully be called so. And he's gone so far as to integrate BTC into Square's mobile app. Again, I've recommended Square's mobile app before in the past. I've used it. It's a very easy way to purchase BTC from your mobile app. Again, Coinbase is obviously a good alternative as well. But there is just something to be said about, kind of moving around where you're purchasing your BTC. Of course, the correct and proper way for those who want to do it for a privacy perspective, to have truly private funds, is of course to do it peer-to-peer. Now, in today's age, you used to just be able to go to localbitcoins.com. You can still do such a thing. Go to localbitcoins.com. But now Local Bitcoins does require you to actually register your identity to do KYC AML. But I will explain to you guys, here is the thing. And it depends on where you live. With KYC AML, or excuse me, having done KYC AML, your initial purchases are going to be tracked, right? However, if you meet a broker, right, if you meet an individual that is selling you BTC peer-to-peer, and you develop a personal relationship with that individual, there is nothing to stop you from doing a personal transaction. There are, of course, it will be known that you purchased BTC or that you did contact a seller. But again, for example, just pushing you guys in the direction of how to obtain peer-to-peer. The other options are go to your local Bitcoin meetups, meet individuals, meet people that are willing to exchange BTC for cash. This is still the tried and true method to actually get private, unregistered with any official, with any third-party entity, Bitcoin. And then if you take the proper privacy procedures and store it properly, and don't combine your UTXO splits, so don't buy BTC peer-to-peer and then send it to your Coinbase wallet, you've just pooped the bed. Don't do that. But now this was announced on Tuesday. Twitter will be helping fund the development of this protocol by tasking a small team of developers that they have hired and are still hiring actually for, with the job of building an open source architecture and framework, essentially, to develop this new social media standard that aims at giving power back to the users. Now, as I said, they have called this project Blue Sky, and their goal is to create an open standard that is not monopolized by one single corporate entity. Very similar to how email functions as an open standard utilized by disparate networks for communication, Blue Sky's shared technical standards would open up the user's ability for cross-platform communication, or as Dorsey described, grant users control over how these networks recommend content and reduce existing industry tendencies to guide users through the use of ads or push to the more outrageous material in the hopes of keeping them entangled. Of course, in the words of Dorsey, he believes that there is a big problem in how social media has been structured today. That social media, as of today, has fostered a very unhealthy focus and goal on pushing conversation and directing conversation toward controversy and sensationalism rather than promoting healthy, meaningful dialogue. And to be honest, there's a lot of factors that play on that. I mean, it is the way we raise our children. It is the influence of government in our lives. It is standardized curriculum, or at least some facets of the standardized curriculum, in my opinion, that we have in our public and private schools. There's a lot of issues in the abrogation of parental responsibility, the flight of fathers, mass incarceration. These are all significant problems that affect us. The influence of our the focus of our culture on entertainment and media and sensationalism, the kind of tribal mentality that is sprouted up in our society, the lack of faith in our bedrock social structure. These are all things that don't have cookie cutter solutions and do require fundamental changes. And for me, I've always been a strong advocate that change begins with children, with educating children in the correct way so that those children can go forth and influence others and help be a guide, be a bedrock of support, of moral foundation, of ethics in this world that often can seem like it is falling apart at the hinges. Now, so just to be very clear there, so this is not going to be, from my understanding, an actual platform. This is going to be an architecture for social media platforms to build upon, very similar to something like Blockstack, building an architecture for decentralized applications and websites to build on as well on the Blockstack network, on basically the Blockstack decentralized web. Something that what was that coin? Something that many media something that several cryptocurrency platforms have tried to do. But unlike them, I think that, things like Blue Sky, things like Blockstack have an actual good probability to succeed and a good team. Now, he did reveal that in his capacity as the CEO of Twitter, that the only thing Twitter would be doing is funding the development and providing a single vision to the initiative, and that is to build a new protocol from scratch or to refine an existing protocol for decentralized social media for any viable model. So, kind of quite different. We could analogize it to Facebook's involvement with Libra. This is going to be a little different, I think. I think this is a little bit more hands-off. And again, just saying, I'm not the hugest fan of these individuals, but I do think that Jack Dorsey's proclamations are in the right place, and I do think that this is a good goal to push forward and push towards. And he's an individual with the weight, with the capital, and with the chutzpah to potentially get it done in a better fashion than we've currently seen it done. Now, Dorsey commented that blockchains point to a series of decentralized solutions for open and durable hosting, governance, and even monetization. So there are good solutions with the blockchain model for the way that we are currently doing, incentivizing platforms to build social media applications and platforms. Now, he says that likely this will use some form of blockchain technology. It's not confirmed whether or not it will be on the blockchain. And Dorsey acknowledged that it is going to take years to actually make this scalable for mass consumption, with the end goal of having Twitter itself potentially even tie into this standard. Now, he pointed out in his interview here, or in his comments here, in his announcement, he did point out some serious concerns about, internet censorship, obviously, which is a very, 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 strong point that we talk about. In fact, you guys should go check out Naomi Brockwell. She just did a video on the end of privacy based on the recent, basically decisions from U.S. legislation to take stances against digital encryption. And he recognized how overly centralized platforms will be vulnerable to the dictates of global speech policy, right? Again, going back to 1984, dictating speech is the first step toward dictating the mind and dictating actions. Again, thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become habits, habits become character. So if you can control what people think and say, you control what they do. Quote, for instance, centralized enforcement of global policy to address abuse and misleading information is unlikely to scale over the long term without placing far too much of a burden on people, Dorsey said. Again, this is absolutely correct. There are things that, it all depends on where you fall on the free speech issue. I fall quite to the right on this issue. Speech is sacred because speech influences thought. Words are not violence. These are all things that I believe quite strongly in. And when you move toward regulating speech, even with good intention, again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And it ends up becoming unduly burdensome and overall tyrannical for any government that has attempted to institute something of this, and any conceptualization we have currently of any government that would attempt to institute something like this. All you have to do is kind of look forward and be a forward thinker on this issue. Now, as demands from bureaucrats and oppressive regimes from around the world alike begin to increasingly hang over social media platforms such as Twitter, it seems to be becoming clear to those networks that their autonomy and even free speech itself is being threatened by intervention from authorities. With regulation of social media clearly mounting and on the rise, all you have to do is pay attention to the trends, such as what we see coming from the European Union right now, which includes massive fines being imposed on these companies for hosting, quote, extreme content. Decentralizing their platforms seems to be the long-term solution to unburden themselves from the responsibility of content management and moderation. Again, if governments are going to, or if any legislation is going to be made that mandates the speech that is allowed on social media platforms, that puts a massive burden on these social media companies and requires them to take the form of content management and moderation, which is unduly burdensome. So it is in their best interest to decentralize their own content or to decentralize their own platform as well to relieve them of that responsibility. Platforms such as Steam, Gab, Mastodon, and coming soon to EOS Voice are notable examples of projects that are currently trying to build decentralized social media communication platforms. But the problem comes in the form of content moderation. With anything truly decentralized, objectionable material can be generated and spread using the network, inevitably giving rise to public pressure that could see these systems deemed unfeasible and rejected by polite society. So the solution to that is, again, make it viral, right? If the platform essentially that is utilized is decentralized, it becomes very, very difficult, and viral in growth and adoption, it becomes very, very difficult to put the genie back in the box. Very similar to Bitcoin and why we're all here today. So let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. As far as whether this particular project will be successful, I'd actually be fairly hopeful towards it. I think it's a step in the right direction. I think this is important for these, for these social media companies to begin this process of decentralization, relieving themselves from the role of content management and moderation, and basically removing the loop where you have government over here who can be tyrannical, and you have free speech over here, which is very difficult to censor without some form of leverage. And currently, that social media platform in the middle, which is the intermediary through which free speech is disseminated, that is currently centralized and centrally controlled. Therefore, content management and moderation is possible by these centralized entities. If you remove that from the loop, then it becomes very difficult for governments to turn tyrannical and moderate free speech because they just simply, it becomes very difficult for them to do so. So let me know what you guys think about this, my friend. All right, we're getting close to the end of the first hour. So we're going to pause and we're going to cover the last few stories when we return from the break. If anybody has any requests, make sure to drop them in the live chat. The moderators will grab them, put them on the show notes, and I will get to them in the Q&A segment at the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for your continued support, for showing up today, for putting on for us. Let's go take a brief break and look at BTC. See what we've got going on. We did have an initial rejection from what looked like a potential breakout there. We did get a pullback down to VWAP on the daily here. Nice little bounce off on some pretty good volume. Again, 4 hour not signaling for anything at the moment. Volatility still falling. Taking a look at crypto bubbles, let's take a look at the wider market here. Matic down another 13.5%. Tezos up 13.7%. Kyber Network up. FTT, Theta, DX, Atom, Waves, RLC, Ethereum Classic, OKB up against the dollar. Icon as well. NEM, Huobi token, Ardor, Dash. Taking a look at my personal trades. My personal trades are doing pretty good. I'm currently in about 5% profit overall with all of my open positions. And I've taken great care in structuring these positions in this particular aspect of the market to play off one another and be hedged up quite nicely. Ooh, Ethereum having a nice little move to the upside here. Yeah, nice little move in here from Ethereum. Tricky area, although this does look okay. See what the volume looks like on this. I am in a daily long on Ethereum. And the volume is not fantastic. We don't even have rising volatility yet on the daily. Well, seeing that, I would actually expect to see Bitcoin follow through here with a movement to the upside. This movement still has a high probability to get sold into, but we're probably going to see the exact same thing from BTC right now. All right, guys, so we're going to take a brief break. When we return, the rest of the news covering the markets and answering your questions. We're going to take a brief break. Make sure to do some deep knee bends. Get yourself some water. Healthy living, guys. And we're going to have a word from our friends over at ByBit with our junior analyst, Midwest Attempts. Don't go anywhere. This is Jason when he first learned about Bitcoin margin trading on BitMEX.
Why? Give it back! Give it back! Oh, give it back!
This is Jason 6 months later after signing up for ByBit with the Cracking Cryptocurrency referral link found in the description below. Don't make the same mistake as Jason. Sign up today at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com. All right, welcome back, guys, to the second hour of Breaking Bitcoin. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic, as we do at the top of every second hour. I do want to reward the viewers over on DLive by distributing these rewards. Congratulations in advance to the winners. All right. Our second story of the day is coming to us from Reuters. An ING, which is the largest bank in the Netherlands with over $980 billion in assets under management, is said to be entering the realm of cryptocurrency storage and custody solutions. Now, according to this article, which was published yesterday, people familiar with the matter, quote, so unspecified sources, say that ING is working on developing technology to allow clients to store their cryptocurrency securely and safely with their institution. Now, this custody project is being developed where ING is based in Amsterdam, and it is still obviously in its early days, and one of many blockchain-based initiatives currently being considered by ING, sources told Reuters. Now, in a written statement to Reuters, ING said that, quote, it sees increasing opportunities with regard to digital assets on both asset-backed and native security tokens, end quote. They added that it is currently focused on developing the underlying technology in order to give their clients a, quote, compliant way to access the emerging sector, end quote. Now, interestingly enough, ING recently said that cash is still king, and that for cryptocurrencies to catch up or catch on, they will still need to prove that they are useful and relevant and trustworthy. It also said that technical improvements are needed for current blockchain architectures before cryptocurrency can become mainstream. Interestingly, that the way that you guys did it out in the wild, no, that's no good. But our alternative, our solution, it's going to be stellar. It's going to be great. Wait for ours. Wait for the beta. Now, more and more traditional firms are, of course, getting involved in the realm of cryptocurrency custody and storage, venturing into the realm of digital asset management, with custody for institutional clients being on the rise and trending as far as news would go this year. Last year, the Boston-based investment manager Fidelity obviously threw their hat into the arena with the announcement of Fidelity Digital Assets to provide cryptocurrency custody and trading services to their institutional investors. This November, they did receive approval from the New York Department of Financial Services, the NYDFS, to provide services to clients based in the state, which of course is kind of the hallmark that any of these solutions have to pass. Of course, Bakkt had to get through New York before it could be like, yeah, you're good to go. Now, we also recently talked about Canada's largest commercial bank, the Royal Bank of Canada, also revealing similar plans to enter into the custody arena and allow solutions for custody to their clients in order to facilitate the deposits and management of digital assets. Custody solutions and regulatory compliance are still scarce in the legacy financial system, and likely the biggest roadblock that we currently have to institutional investment in this new asset class of cryptocurrency. But it seems day to day, more financial firms are beginning to explore ways to enter into this space. Now, whether this will be for good or for ill, I can only speculate about. However, it is known that all we have to do is look at the example of the internet is a great testing ground for this, is a great historical example of what was developed out in the wild being kind of frowned upon, and everybody tried to develop their own corporate version, corporate solution to it, but they ended up being untenable and unsuccessful in the long run to the decentralized, better solution that was built open source in the wild. And I think that the same thing will ring true with this. Again, Bitcoin is money without masters. It is the people's money. And cryptocurrency and open source blockchain architecture represents that vision and that goal that began with the internet and that began before that with open source publication. All of these things have helped to make society freer, have helped to increase communication, have helped to liberate us from physical shackles, and now we are working on the realm of releasing us from tyrannical shackles, i.e. from centralization and authority. Can only hope that the fire is bright enough for us to cross this barrier without having to go through the dark ages of centralized blockchains, centralized databases. But we have to be prepared and we have to be vigilant. So tell your friends, tell your family. And let me know what you guys think. If you're watching this during a later segment, a Breaking Bitcoin segment, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat how you feel, and I'd like to read your comments and comment upon what you have to say. Now, the final story today, a little lightheartedness for us here, is is from Nike, and this is coming from thenextweb.com. Nike, the sports brand, the sports band group, the apparel brand group, has announced that they've been granted a patent to tokenize its shoes on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, in a document posted on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office on December 10th, Nike stated that its plans to generate unique IDs and generate ERC 721 non-fungible tokens for certain shoes And the exercise, they've been granted that right. And this exercise, they are going to dub Crypto Kicks, baby. Get your blockchain shoes, baby. Now, when the way this works is if you go ahead and purchase qualifying shoes, customers will be able to unlock the token associated with the shoe, and that will link them to the unique owner's ID to confirm delivery and ownership. Then these digital assets can be stored in what is being called a digital locker, a digital foot locker, that is, a cryptocurrency wallet type app. Now, this token will not only be used to represent the digital shoe on the blockchain, but it's also going to be used for recording so-called genotype information that the product, which includes specific attributes, colors, styles, backgrounds, etc. Now, the patent describes a variety of features that will supposedly grant owners more control over their shoes, but also the shoe design as well. One example described in the announcement is a mechanism which enables users to set limits on the number of exact copies of their proprietary shoe that is allowed to be cloned and produced. Also described is the so-called surrogacy feature that will let other users franchise designs to allow them to mix shoe designs as well as parenting or nannying features as a way to temporarily grant custody of the shoe to third parties in order to take care and maintain the limited edition shoes. Now, in a scheme that sounds a lot like CryptoKitties meets Fresh New Kicks, the patent states that, quote, breeding rights for a digital shoe may be governed by one or more real-world manufacturing restrictions. Ownership rights for each successive generation of a digital shoe may be tied back to the original real-world shoe and otherwise wholly or partially owned by percentage of genotypic contribution via encryption key to the original associated virtual product. What that means, so what that means is that users of CryptoKicks will be able to intermingle or breed the digital shoe with another digital shoe to create shoe offspring and have the offspring made as a new tangible pair of shoes. This is pretty funny. Now, overall, this fusion of blockchain tech with the demand for limited edition footwear, it's not really unexpected. It's unique and novel, but it's not unexpected. This CryptoKicks project was revealed to us back in April of this year when they first filed for the copyright of the name. And one of the more exciting use cases for blockchain is its ability to produce digital identities and establish authenticity, which naturally has far-reaching consequences for fashion and the apparel industry, not only the real estate industry, not only literally anything that can be tokenized on the blockchain, which currently those industries are all fraught with forgery and fakes, and blockchain is a technology that can largely eliminate that falsity. Now, for each virtual or physical good, in this case the shoe, there is a list of transactions leading all the way up to the origin of an item without data being manipulated by a single party. Counterfeit projects and products are flooding the market of all of the popular brands as well. And this endangers the brand. This also dilutes the value of the product in the eyes of consumers who are looking for unique and authentic products. Again, if something is very limited edition and there's not a lot of them made for whatever, for obvious reasons, it drives up demand, drives up value, establishes the brand, and it gives whoever owns the scarce asset greater value. And all of this can be verified on the Ethereum blockchain this way. Now, using blockchain, manufacturers and designers can secure their brand against counterfeiting. That is the point of this. For every item, its origin and ownership can be tracked all the way back to the manufacturing source. Counterfeit products or replicas will not have an authentic chain of records and can thus be easily revealed. So the next time you go to buy your knockoff pair of crypto Nikes on the street corner, you can just scan it, scan the QR code. Is it on the blockchain? No, it's not. This shoe's garbage, man. This ain't real. Now, combined with technology like RFID, even raw materials from their source to the production floor all the way up to the finished product can be tracked through the distribution network and give customers an unparalleled insight into the authenticity of the creation of their product, all the way from the sweatshops in India to the Foot Locker in Dallas. So, I think this is kind of amusing, kind of funny, a little lighthearted, but again, this is serious, guys. This just goes to point out that the way that this technology is going to be reaching into our lives over the next 20 years is unfathomable. The gap between where we are now and where we will be when blockchain has mass adoption is completely enormous, right? And I think, it's interesting because if you go back 100 years, something like the internet was fairly inconceivable. But now that we have a glimpse of what these technologies can do, we have a glimpse of the digital world that is still in its infancy. I still have to believe that there are things that we can not yet even imagine that we're going to be seeing in the next 100 years. Technology is a rolling stone, guys, a rolling stone. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments section. I highly appreciate it. Let me know your guys' thoughts. With that being said, that concludes our Crypto Currently segment. We're going to be moving into the questions and answers. Let me give a big shout out to today's luckiest followers over on DLive, Ricky T, Kryptonian, and Midwest Attempts, big winners of today's Lemon distribution. Thanks, guys, for the support. Highly appreciate it. If you guys want to take part in that, make sure to go follow us over on DLive at dlive.tv/crackingcrypto, where we do distribute lemons to our followers every single morgen. All right. What's going on with Bitcoin? We've yet to see the break. Gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. All right. Let's move into the Q&A section of today's show. If you guys have any questions, make sure to throw them in the live chat, and the moderators will get them. So far, I only see one. And this is a basic attention token request by David Rice. So let's get to the chart. Let's take a look at basic attention token. We're going to just look at the USD value and see how it is valuing overall, just as an underlying asset for holding on its own. As we can see here, in a downtrend as we speak. Let's kind of zoom out here and see if we can see any fairly significant levels. Basic attention token is an oscillator as far as altcoins go, meaning that it has weathered and survived multiple cycles, tracked all the way from November 17, rose with the entire market, rose the entire market, rose the entire market, and rose with the entire market again in 2019. Largely fell off, didn't see the volatility or chop, mostly just lost its value, consolidated for a little bit for another little trend here in October of 2019, and since then has been in a downtrend. Looking overall at PTP strategy on Mr. Basic Attention Token, we do have confirmation of a short trade given to us over here. For those of you who can access the platform and short Basic Attention Token, I think you can do that on Bitfinex, not a platform that I trade on. Looking at the weekly on basic attention token, we do have the previous low that we are ascending to. We are kind of creeping toward it. We haven't approached it with high momentum. I would like to see a little bit of a baby little bounce over here, down here in this level, the upper 15 region, maybe even 16 cents down here, which we're pretty darn close to. Let's take a look at something like Minx. Minx on the weekly. Minx on the weekly is giving us a little bit of weak bullish divergence. Nothing really there to speak about. Rising or not rising explosion level, falling explosion level with red columns. That is confirming short trades. CCI quite low. I don't see anything in here that would show us as an extreme at an extreme of price. Let's look at something like Parallax. See what Parallax has to say about this. Parallax looking quite ugly, not overextended on Parallax whatsoever, not a flip into a bullish trend. In fact, Parallax correctly identified a bearish trend throughout all of this and identified this as an opportunity to grab the long trend and sell. We did reject here from the zero line on Parallax as well. Not a good thing that you want to see. And I don't see, of course, we don't have any rounded bottom on the weekly. So getting back to a more tradable time frame like the daily. So on the weekly, I don't see any signs of us reaching anything that is overall critical. Zooming out on the daily, let's take a look at VPVR, see if we can find any important levels we should be paying attention to, and then we'll look at our EMAs. You just got a fresh breakdown below the point of control, and when we have done this before, although we have seen a retreat back to the point of control at about 19.5 cents, we have rejected so far. We rejected twice. The first time that we broke down over here back in August 2019, rejected. Did get a little baby breakthrough, wasn't able to establish support and broke back down. Overall, not a great sign. This would be pointing us down towards support right around, I previously said the higher 15s. This is pointing us toward the mid 15s, about 15.5 cents. And again, we kind of have that lower area of support down around the 13, 14 area. I don't really think we're quite there where we want to be calling the bottom or looking for a bounce on basic attention token. I don't really like the idea of calling bottoms anyways. Let's wait to see a little bit of support be established and then look for some bullish breakout from that area before we be looking to get excited about basic attention token. Here would be my thought on this. Just not quite ready yet. Too speculative to be calling a bottom on basic attention token, especially with Bitcoin kind of hanging right around the edge here. From a tradable perspective, again, we do have a fresh cross under on yesterday's candle, which was beautiful. Yesterday's candle, Minx actually signaled for the continuation short and a pullback to the daily baseline, giving you a good reshorting opportunity. WADA is quite bearish. Now, the explosion level has fallen. You know, the volatility is dying off. We are still drifting lazily to the downside. CCI quite bearish, Paralox quite bearish, and Minx obviously quite bearish as well. See if we can establish any confluence. Yeah, we just got a fresh, here you can see on this candle right here, here is the 55, or the 55 and the 13 exponential and 55 cross under, which we talk about. What do we see there? We see a pullback to the 13 or correction to the 13 and immediate rejection. So even getting short here, experiencing a little bit of drawdown and taking the trade. Not a buying opportunity in my opinion, my friend. Let's see here. Wendy2 says, what are some blockchain collectibles that may be worth some money in the future? Physical collectibles? I would say that if you can get your hands on some of those original Bitcoin gold tokens with actual 1 Bitcoin inside of them, those are going to be very, very valuable. They're still very valuable right now. Ricky Thompson asks, what would be the advantage of using ING versus your hardware wallet? Well, for large institutions, it would be having a, to them, trusted third party take care of that for you. Just similarly, you know, if you're going to hold your cash, you have to hold your cash physically and actually secure physical custody. Institutional investors may not want to take that burden on, especially with them being very used to the current legacy financial system, where one does not act as their own bank, where one does not act as their own custodian of their funds, especially when we're talking about large amounts of money. For institutional investors, we're talking about hundreds of millions or billions of dollars that might potentially be tied up in these assets. And again, there are going to need to be solutions for them, custody solutions for them. Not, you know, for people, for regular individuals who are securing their own wealth, Bitcoin represents an opportunity to be your own bank. For large institutions, they are largely not going to do that. Not yet. Thank you, David. I've got a request here for Tezos from Blockchain Gains and Monaco from Profit Bear. So let's take a look at Mr. Tezos. Tezos having a nice little pop up today. And I believe I gave my thoughts on Tezos. Yesterday. I talked about, again, continuation signal yesterday. Powerful signal from Watertar explosion. Still quite a nice bullish trend. Never closed below the baseline. This is something that one could have held. And Tezos, again, getting right and nice off to the races yet again. You know, definitely want to be wary. This is definitely, listen, as we continue to move along, from a trading perspective, definitely a time when you want to be scaling out profits as we kind of approach the top of the market. But, you know, this is a blue sky breakout, and you just typically ride this as far as you can. Now, be aware, you know, just be aware that these good things do generally come to an end. You know, I don't really think, you know, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion for Tezos holders out there, but, you know, this thing can continue to run. But at the same time, you know, regardless of where you entered, would I enter into a trade off of this candle? No, I would not. If I was going to enter, I would have entered yesterday on yesterday's close where we got the continuation signal. That would have been the appropriate time to enter. Now, I had previously taken the Tezos trade. This was a trend that we captured right here. We had a very nice little tidy trade on Tezos. Did not take the continuation trade, being a little hesitant towards the cryptos. That's just my, or excuse, not the cryptos in general, but the altcoins so far. But again, Tezos in a nice strong bullish trend, and this is exactly what I said yesterday. I said it was a valid continuation signal. Everything was confirmed, 4 of 4. And one could have taken that trade. Waking up to already a TP1 on today's daily close, or on today's daily open. Let's take a look at Quadrigo. Let's look at our long targets right here. Yeah, our first target would have been right here. We already tagged that. Have not hit TP2 or TP3. We would still be looking for those upside at 181 and 193 respectively. But we've already reached a level where just for this trade that you would have taken off this daily close, you need to be out 50%, move that stop loss to break even, which would be right here at yesterday's close, $1.57. And I think that's the proper way to handle this. I think that's the proper way to handle this. You know, bullish trend, look for reentry and continuation opportunities. Just realize that we are reaching somewhat of a little bit over. I wouldn't say overbought. I don't really like using those terms. Obviously, we reached one right here and then had a nice little bit of consolidation before the next breakout. Wasn't a lot of daily opportunity there again. But again, here was the nice clear trend to grab and reestablish. Obviously, we had very clear trending signs here to get into the long. Here on this candle, actually, you could have gotten a confirmed signal just about anywhere right here. You could have entered. We never closed below the baseline anywhere here. So I don't think that I would want to enter into a trade here. Tezos is bullish, so we can hold a position open. Make sure that you've secured profit if you entered anywhere in consolidation, or God forbid anywhere down here, or God bless anywhere down here, I should say. And just be aware, because when these things turn, they turn very steeply and sharply. And I'm just going to tell you guys how this is going to play out. You know, Tezos is going to have a run, and it's going to have a big sell-off, and then it's going to continue to sell off for a very long time. This is the cycle of altcoins. They have their run. Look at Matic. Look at IEO coins. Look at how all of them play out. This is going to play out no differently. Tezos is not immune to any of the altcoin manipulation, and I do not think that we've reached an area yet where the entire market is just going to start running and continually establishing higher highs and higher lows for years to come, very similar to the indices or popular indices. I still feel, unfortunately, that we're very much in a ride it while the trend goes, and once that thing switches trend direction, I mean, you know, you just come back in 6 to 9 months. Wait out the consolidation period, wait for it to reach an extreme low, consolidate if that's your strategy, and ride the next trend eventually. But I still think that trading is the best way to go. We can look at another good example. We're going to look at another good example in the form of Link, right? Let's actually pull up some better data on Mr. Link. There we go. Again, here we go. Link in a large period of consolidation for a long period of time. Beautiful run up. And then just, you know, sell. Sell when the trend switches, which the trend switches right around here. You can see it close below the baseline right here. Out of the market. Out of the market. Out of the market. Here's a tradable trend. Out of the market. Here's a weak tradable trend. Long sell-off, continued sell-off today. It's just not there, ladies and gentlemen. MCO USD. MCO, this is actually a pretty interesting chart. Well, let's not get too subjective, and let's just go look at what the indicators are signaling. There's no volatility here, so we can't take this trade. Nothing's confirmed. We're also not above the baseline. Minx is above the zero line and above the noise line right here. Commodity channel index is bullish. We're just not ready there. I mean, you know, just looking at this, we're looking for a breakout trade. You know, we have these established lows from all the way back in 2017, which we broke below into this accumulation period. You see a little bit of a spring here, and then a nice run off to the races, sell back, forming a higher low on the higher time frames here, and kind of going for a little bit of a baby breakout here. We've got a higher low. We're reapproaching our resistance. You know, anything that was bought down here, this right here for me is a selling opportunity until we get some nice volume, until we get a nice breakout on good volume. Until then, this is not. It's not ripe. It's not ready yet. Now, I think that if you did accumulate down here, you don't have confirmation that that's not going to happen. So if you've been holding for a while, wouldn't be so quick to just jump out. But from a tradable perspective, from the mindset of a trader, at least myself, this is a selling opportunity at this zone right here. Also, we don't have a long signal whatsoever. Things are starting to flip a little bit bullish, but we need volatility to come in. This is what protects us. This indicator right here is one of the most important things on our chart. We need volatility. We need volume to ride trends, because you don't have trends without volume and volatility. And so I would be patient. I would sit on my hands with MCO and wait for a break of this level. Wait for your indicator to tell you that it's okay to trade, and then look to take that trend. If we do get a nice breakout, we could initially be looking at things like, you know, $4.50, $4.75, $5. We'll start there, and then we'll see what kind of trend emerges from it. But for right now, MCO is definitely a sit on your hands setup. Is Tron a long-term hold? Not in my opinion. And I'll look at Steam BTC. I think that's probably going to be my last chart request of the day. Great trade, Da Vinci. Yeah, good setup. Here's the buy. Let's see here. Let's get actually accurate. No, you know, we would have had to wait. We would have had to wait for this candle right here. But yeah, this is a beautiful classic long signal. Look at the volatility, powerful signal, long period of consolidation with a final rising explosion level, Bollinger Band separating, Minks above zero and the noise line, CCI above. Beautiful, man. Beautiful trade. You know, this is definitely, I think, you know, this is starting to look like a breakout, but I'd want to, you know, I always like to see BPCs on breakouts. You know, I like to see these levels get broken and then reclaimed and then, you know, maybe consolidate for a little bit and then push for another significant thing. Big explosion of volume 2 on this candle. And you know, we've already sold off 50%. Generally, these aren't good to see. These are generally taking profit opportunities. So again, just as I said, one could have entered right here, take 50% profit, move that stop loss to break even. Have we moved to... Yeah, you know, you don't even need to set a trailing stop loss. You can hold this thing. You know, if we close back below this level right here, maybe take your profit and look for continuation. But overall, looking very good, man. Great, good setup on Steam here, sir. Da Vinci, this is great. Nice 25% potential there. I know you like to grab lows as well, so you probably have squeezed out a little bit more. Good setup. Good setup, Da Vinci. Da Vinci, one of our senior analysts, calling these trades. For our premium members, good setup, man. Proud of you. Robert, actually, I did just look at Link, and it does not look good to me. Missed me looking at the SPY or the SPX coin. Let's go look at the SPY on Arca. We got a nice breakout symbol on today. Finally, a nice, powerful signal from Wadatar Explosion. Nice breakout. You know, I've said this for a while. I said this throughout this entire segment. I said we're going to see higher highs on our indices, and this is a nice, beautiful blue sky breakout signal yet again. I would be long on indices. My portfolio is very, very happy. All the naysayers are silly, in my humble opinion. Andy Rams, YouTube keeps bringing me here. It's because you're home, brother. This is where home meets the heart. All right, guys, it is 1:30. I don't see any more questions. I think that's a good place to call it. I've got a lot to do today. Got these meetings to go to, my friends. So thank you guys very, very much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Of course, I've been Justin, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. If you guys would like to begin your journey toward consistently profitable trading, if you would like to work and learn from a team that deals in statistical probability, verifiable edge, and raw technical strategy, then check out what we're doing in the group and the online academy at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com to begin that journey with us today. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, please leave them in the comment section down below. We will be we will be giving away crypto as we do every single day on this channel. Please comment down below what you believe the price of BTC USD on Coinbase will be tomorrow when the show begins at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And of course, we are here every single day from noon to 2 Central Standard Time. Links are down in the description for everything that you could want. If you guys would like to trade with us on ByBit, if you guys would like to utilize TradingView, all of those links are down below. We would highly appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, let us know that you appreciate the comment down below what your thoughts were, what you learned from today's show. We will be here tomorrow, of course, as well. And check out the podcast at breakingbitcoin.money to catch us on the go. Also, our Discord is available if you want to hop in there. It is absolutely free. It is available to the entire public. Discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com to stay up to date and begin your trading experience from day one. All right, guys. I've enjoyed my time with you. You guys have been excellent. I'm Justin for Cracking Cryptocurrency. And as always, guys, trade safely.